Secret Handshake Productions presents 221B, Adventures of the Baker Street Irregulars. Episode 1, The Coroner, the Urchin, and the Maestro.
Right then, Jefferson Hope is in custody. You have my thanks, but you best be off before Commissioner Shaw comes out here. You know how she feels about this arrangement.
Ever the lapdog, are we, Inspector? Never you worry, I'll be on my way.
Can't blame her when you say things like that.
Mr. Holmes, I must say, your methods throughout this case, they were nothing short of brilliant. I've never witnessed anything like it.
Please, Dr. Watson, even a dog would look brilliant next to Scotland Yard's finest detective. I will say, this was a grisly one, but you were a fine addition to this little study in scarlet.
Study in scarlet? Huh. Very nice. I trust you don't mind. I've been making an account of this adventure. It's quite the story. I don't suppose you'd have any objections to it being published.
If you'd like, Dr. Watson. In view of the fact that we are now sharing rooms, it seems appropriate to extend the invitation to accompany me whenever you'd like.
I should like to help in any way I can. It's fulfilling work.
And good sport.
Damn good sport.
Mr. Holmes, there you are. Did we get him?
Get him? Who is this?
Yes, you're the boy I sent for the cab driver.
Yes, sir. I knew he was the culprit, you see. The soot under his fingernails indicated...
Holmes, I have Drebber and Staggerson's bodies in the morgue. Have they been identified?
Coroner Wesley, this is a question to be directed to Inspector Lestrade. We have talked about this.
I just want to know who I can start gutting, Holmes. At least tell me where I can find him.
Goodness.
Wait, Mr. Holmes!
Walton, please, a moment.
It's Wiggins.
Coroner Wesley, Lestrade is in evidence with the Commissioner. No need to pester Mr. Holmes with this any further.
Oh, fine then. The sooner I can open these blokes up, the better.
I see Wesley's fixation with macabre is as prevalent as ever. Thank you for calling him off, Officer Paxton.
What pleasure, Mr. Holmes. Damn fine work as usual.
Sherlock!
Please, son, the adults are talking.
The Commissioner may be stuffy where you're concerned, but know the boys patrolling the streets appreciate your efforts.
I appreciate the sentiment. Always happy to make your jobs look easier.
Ah, yes, quite right. Till next time, Holmes.
Mr. Holmes, when will you need my...
Must be making our way home, Dr. Watson. The night draws in.
Please, Holmes. John.
Hold on!
Ah, you're still here.
What is it?
I helped you solve this case.
And?
I can help you solve more.
You're a child.
That don't mean I can't help.
Ah, you were a fine foot soldier for this outing, Wiggins. I'll give you that. Tell you what, when I next have need of your eyes and ears on the streets, I'll let you know.
Really?
Yes, of course.
When should I come round?
Don't worry, Mr. Wiggins. We'll contact you.
I'll show them.
Get your Strand magazine here. The latest exploits of Baker Street's very own consulting detectives Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson, as penned by the good doctor himself. The Sign of the Four. Read all about it.
Again? They said they'd let me help.
Look, Wiggins, read this. He deduced who the murderer was by the residue left in his footprints. Brilliant. He sees things no one else does.
No. It's not just seeing, it's observing.
Get your Strand here. A new Sherlock Holmes adventure awaits, misters and misses. The Red-Headed League. Read all about it. Morecambe Valley Mystery. Twisted orange pits. Papers here. Morning news. Scotland Yard coroner tied to murder. Read all about
Fresh
it.
dates, apricots, apples and pears, all fresh.
Oi, Wiggins. We ain't seen that bloke over there. This one should be safe.
Right, simple operation. You know what to do. Get our pickings and make off before anyone sees you. Hang about.
Should be easy enough. My new character is sure to fool
Wait.
him.
Cartwright. Look closer. Scar along the left temple. 2 missing fingers on the right hand. Hold on, maybe we should...
Do you think this mop head could pass for hair?
No. Wait. I think he's...
Of course it will. Don't you worry, Wiggins. Let the Master of Disguise do his work.
Cartwright, wait! Ah, bugger.
Fresh fruit here, brand new stock. Oh. Hello.
How do you do, my good fellow? I'm Lysander Figby, notable gentleman of great wealth.
A notable gentleman of great wealth?
Yes, something of a philharmonic where I come from. You see, I'm in great need of fresh fruit for the charities I provide for, and I seem to have lost my coin purse. Be a kind soul and spare some supply, will you? For the children.
Oh, I see. So you think you can fool me, huh?
Good sir, Lysander Figgleby does not deal in trickery.
All right, whose boy is this? Where's a copper when you need him? Get this urchin out of my sight!
Cartwright. All right, well, the children are in need, so if you don't mind...
Stop! Oh, put those down!
Wouldn't you know it, the Farrelbys haven't much to their names these days. Goodbye!
Stop! Oh, come back here!
Cartwright, where are you?
So, there's two of you, are there? Stop them! Hey!
There, lost him.
Cartwright, that was careless.
I didn't think he'd see through my disguise so quickly.
You put a mop on your head. What did you expect?
Well, we made off with a good score, that's all that matters.
It does matter. We can't go back to that section of the market now. He'll be looking for us. I was going to tell you. He had a scar on his left temple. A bullet that grazed him in the head. Well healed, but not entirely. He was missing his little finger and his ring finger as well. So, those were war injuries. The man served in the army recently. They're harder to nick things from.
Well, we still got what we needed. Tuck in. Look what else I nabbed. Morning paper.
Since when do you read the paper?
Never. But look here on the front page.
Scotland Yard Coroner tied to murder.
Below that.
Consulting detectives Sherlock Holmes and Dr. John Watson to address surge in crime in a press conference at 221B, Baker Street. 9:30, Cartwright. It's about to start.
Thought you might find that interesting.
They can't ignore me with all those reporters around. We need to get to 221B right now.
Mr. Holmes, over here. Oswald Green of the Evening Standard. Where and how did you hone your unconventional skills of observation?
Well, it is hard to say, really. I taught myself, I suppose. I simply observed and I assiduously practiced observing. Mostly in my years at university.
Morning Chronicle over here, Mr. Holmes. Where's your deer stalker this morning?
Deer stalker? What?
My illustrator has taken a liking to it.
I'm not wearing it because it's not cold.
Your brilliance is showing, Sherlock.
Francis Hannigan for the Daily Mail. The murder of Siegfried Green, seemingly at the hands of a Scotland Yard coroner, comes as a shock to many. What would you say to Londoners concerned about such atrocities from within their own law enforcement?
Yes, well, with how much he went on about dead bodies, is it much of a surprise?
Thank you, Sherlock. Ladies and gentlemen, what my associate means to say is that while the revelation of Colin Wesley's acts do come as a shock, he did display a decided fascination with the dead. So, in retrospect, the signs were there. We have it on good authority that Scotland Yard is doing everything in their power to conduct a thorough investigation. It is an isolated incident.
Come on, Cartwright, we have to get closer.
Oh, I dare say.
Sorry, mister.
Quite all right. No harm. Just a few down textbooks. Where are you two going in such a hurry?
We have to get closer, sir. I need to talk to Sherlock Holmes.
Talk to him? Why?
I work with them, sir. Since their first case.
Work with Sherlock Holmes?
That's right.
Ah, well, please don't let me stop you. Best of luck.
Watch where you're going!
doing?
You bumped into me.
No, you bumped into me.
Easy, it was only an accident. No need to make a scene.
If making a scene will get any of these blooming reporters' attention, I just might try that.
Why do you need to talk to a reporter?
None of your business. Why are you pushing your way to the front of the crowd?
None of your business.
Wiggins wants to talk to Sherlock Holmes because he thinks he works for him.
What did I just say, Cartwright?
What makes you think you work with Sherlock Holmes?
I have worked with Sherlock Holmes. Once.
Right, and Queen Victoria is my aunt.
3 reporters, Adelaide. We spoke with 3. The Times, the Herald, and the Morning Post.
None are taking quotes.
Of course not. No surprises there.
You want to give the papers a quote?
Some of us have real-life things we're trying to solve.
Some reporters pay.
Even for bogus quotes.
That too.
I think it is a real-life thing. Who are you, anyway?
Adelaide, Adelbert. These are the twins.
Opal Gladstone, pleased to meet ya.
Ruby Gladstone, what she said.
Hey, Ruby. That's Wiggins.
What?
Oh, that's right. That would make him Cartwright.
What? Oh, how do you know?
Opal and Ruby are quite the gossips.
People are sort of funny.
We follow them around a lot.
No one really seems to care if we're listening or not.
Aren't you the one obsessed with Sherlock Holmes? Learned all of his mentalist magical tricks?
When did you find out?
That's right. Wiggins is obsessed with detective work, and Cartwright thinks he's good at disguising himself.
You're not, by the way.
It's not my acting. It's my wardrobe. It's low budget. It limits my believability.
Yeah, between the pair of you, you can't manage to steal a few pairs to save your lives.
It's sad, really.
How do you know all of this?
We get around.
If you used your wit to swindle instead of steal, you wouldn't get chased so much. You should work smarter, me old chum.
It was reported that the hunting knife found in Wesley's apron was picked up from the Scotland Yard evidence room. Do we have reason to believe that Scotland Yard is compromised?
Compromised? By whom exactly?
It is possible there's a larger scheme at play, only time will tell.
What? Sherlock, don't panic, people.
Would you mind expanding on that, Mr. Holmes?
Organised crime holds a firm grip on all of London these days. In many of the cases John and myself have worked in the past year and a half, there have been instances in which a seemingly isolated incident has given way to a grander design.
Sherlock, think about this.
We live in a hotbed of criminal activity. The intricacies of the cases we face grow more complex. Common ne'er-do-wells waver. But if they were given direction, could simple crime not turn into a conquest on an almost Napoleonic level?
That's only a theory.
Yes, right.
Are you saying recent spikes in crime could be attributed to a sole organizer?
I'm saying there's a particular market for it.
Mr. Holmes, you've worked closely with Scotland Yard since you started your agency. Yet the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police has made her stance against your assistance quite clear. How do you respond to Commissioner Shaw's statements?
Go on then, Sherlock. Put us out of business.
If the Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police can direct me to a single officer that has closed a case with half the efficiency I have, I will gladly confine myself to my own clientele.
We are grateful for the trust Scotland Yard has placed in us thus far.
If she thinks we're so unhelpful, perhaps she could ask Chief Inspector Goodwin Lestrade why knocking on my door is his first port of call.
All right, Sherlock. The scale of crime in London is growing exponentially. What Sherlock is saying is that even Scotland Yard needs help from time to time. We all do.
And they have help. They do, right here. Me, I help them.
We have never seen that boy in our lives.
What? That's not true. I helped you with the study in Scarlet.
He did. That's true.
Sherlock?
What he did.
I remember reading about him. He fetched the cabbie.
Right. I'm Sherlock and Watson's on-call street detective. Their eyes and ears.
He's not. We only enlisted him to help the once.
You sent a child to apprehend a murderer.
Yes, and?
No, listen. Some story points are dramatized slightly.
I went by myself, at night, 2 streets down, and called the cabbie up to their flat, just like it was written.
Don't listen to him, he's just a child.
But a fellow detective, that's for true.
You're not affiliated with us.
I could be.
Is there an officer who would kindly escort this urchin away? He's meddling in these proceedings.
This is going well.
Sorry, Wiggins. Afraid you're coming with me.
Officer Paxton, wait!
And your friends? Come along now.
Friends?
Stop it!
Please stop squirming. I'm only doing my job.
I'll bite you!
Let me go! Listen to me, Sherlock!
What a strange little boy.
Funny. People used to say the same about me.
This will be good enough.
Ow! My knee!
Oh, I'm sorry, lad. You alright?
He'll be fine, Paxton. Just leave us alone.
Nothing personal, Wiggins. Sorry.
Hope you got what you were looking for out of that, Wiggins.
If you hadn't distracted me, I could have gotten closer. It's your fault.
As if that would have made a difference.
You don't understand them like I do.
Do you think you're the only person who reads about Sherlock's cases?
Well, I'm the only one that's helped him.
Seems like you made a lasting impression. Trust me, if getting their attention were as simple as walking right up to them, I wouldn't be tugging on reporters' tailcoats.
What?
It's none of your business.
Adelaide's mum's in prison.
Opal!
Charged with fraud. She didn't do it.
Ruby, stop. He doesn't need to know that.
It was a bit obvious, don't you think?
How?
You reach into your pocket when you're angry or flustered. Caught a glimpse of the brooch you clutch in there when you do it. It has AA engraved on it. Your mother's Arabella Adelbert, I take it? I heard about that case.
Impressive. But you know it would have been even more impressive?
What?
If you'd had the foresight to give one of the reporters your quote about helping Holmes and Watson instead of grinding the whole press conference to a halt. That way they would have had to come to you to get a retraction. Then you could have talked to them. But being thrown into this alley is nice, too.
That's... well... that's smart, actually.
Wiggins! My knee is still smarting.
Cartwright! It's just a scrape. It might swell just a little. You'll be fine.
Did you say you had a scrape?
What? Yes, but...
I have just the thing for that!
Who are you?
That lab coat is far too big for you.
Oh, don't mind that. Or the dirt. Sometimes I trip on the sleeves. It's around here somewhere. Ah, here we are. I've been looking for a specimen to test this concoction on.
Specimen?
You seen him around anywhere, Ruby?
Wherever he goes, we don't, Opal.
In this vial, I have a special tonic of my own creation. It serves as an instant cure for scrapes, bruises, and bumps. Apply it like so. There we are.
I asked you a question. Who are you?
Dr. Baxter Van Davies, at your service. I study at the Royal Institution of Great Britain.
You study there?
Yes. Well, sort of.
That lab coat was stolen.
Oh, this is a genuine Institute lab coat. I despise the implication.
Why, does the dirt indicate he found it in the rubbish?
That and the patch that reads Dr. Brown on the front.
All right, I sit in on classes. Sort of.
You steal from them a lot, don't you?
I hear some things in passing. I'm quite passionate about science, I'll have you know.
This tonic isn't doing anything.
What's in it?
Sugar water, mashed green onions, and dandelions. Me own recipe.
If he had a scrape, it's infected now.
Picking you up, here we are. Now, where to hide you? Good enough.
Did you see that, Ruby?
Yes, but it's none of our business.
It's a letter.
Didn't seem like the most upstanding chap. Why's he hiding it?
Huh. It's a piece of music.
Music?
Sonato via Mallet. Movement 3, Opus 31, number 6.
What's so important about that?
Don't know. Composed by the Maestro.
Maestro. Like Beethoven?
Maybe. There's a bunch of parts, but no instruments are listed.
Look there, with the first instrument. What's that say?
Enter hunting knife. apron. For the second, enter chromium nameplate apple pudding. There are things like that at different measures for all the instruments.
Honey, who's the Maestro?
Oh, this is ridiculous. How did it come to this?
We best hold on to this for now.
I should be helping Sherlock Holmes solve crimes, not stuck in an alley with all of you.
Got no one to blame but yourself for that. If you hadn't blabbed, we'd all be going about our separate business.
I'm glad I ran into you all. I got to test my tonic.
It didn't work.
Ah, well, as always next time.
I say the same thing when my disguises don't work.
You don't understand how important this is to me. I have to prove myself to Sherlock and Dr. Watson. Get off the streets and actually do something.
Don't I understand? My mother is rotting in a cell, and they're the only ones who can help free her. Unfortunately, they don't pay much mind to street children.
Watson doesn't, at least.
Sherlock finds him amusing sometimes. That's probably why he asked for your help that one time.
He trusted me. He said I was his eyes and ears.
Then why didn't he ask you back?
He probably got distracted. That's all.
Don't take it so personally, Wiggins. It's easy to forget one street kid.
But that's not fair. Wait. It is easy to forget one street kid. But you know what's not so easy?
I don't like that look in your eye.
Forgetting 6.
6?
That's how many of us are here now.
The doctor can count.
Well, a surprise as he is.
What are you suggesting?
I'm suggesting we all march up to the doorstep of 221B Baker Street and show them we all have the makings of bleeding detectives.
Sherlock Holmes? Why, I've always wanted to meet him. Quite the man of science he is.
This is absurd!
I'd wager he hears some great gossip on those cases of his.
Imagine getting paid to people watch.
Opal, Ruby, you can't actually be considering this.
Why not?
He always fools people with disguises in the stories. I bet he could give me some pointers.
That's 5. What do you say, Adelbert?
I say you're all wrong in the head.
You said you could use their help getting your mother out of that prison cell. They can't ignore all of us.
Strong-arming them with strength in numbers doesn't necessarily mean they'll take us seriously.
No, but we'll get their attention at least, which is a start.
Fine, but if we're going to do this, I'm the brains. Are we clear?
I think I supply a surplus already.
You really don't.
We'll discuss the parameters of our truce on the way to 221B. Come along, everyone.
Sherlock, we really need to have a talk about the things you say to the public.
I was being honest. I hate speaking to reporters. At least I didn't freeze this time round.
You nearly caused a panic. You can't imply there's a major criminal conspiracy threatening the city in front of a crowd of people.
I was only theorizing.
Oh, theorizing. Do you really think there's truth to that? Could Coroner Wesley's case tie into a grander scheme?
I have formed a hypothesis. Now I await the evidence.
Always as soon as we sit down. There should be a few telegrams on the table there from potential clients. Start looking through them, will you? Yes, Mrs. Hudson.
Sorry to bother you boys.
Never, Mrs. Hudson, please.
There's someone here. Says he's a close friend of Sherlock's. He's dropped by for a visit.
You have close friends?
No.
He's intrigued. Send him up.
Of course, John.
I didn't say I was intrigued.
If you weren't intrigued, you'd have said something off-putting.
Finally! The two of you are not easy to reach. I don't appreciate being ignored.
Wiggins! Oh, good lord.
Here I thought something a little interesting had come knocking.
You kept me waiting for a year and a bloomin' half. So I had no choice but to turn to deception.
Wiggins, I'm telling you one final time. Leave these rooms straight away, or I will have you removed by the police.
Why is this so important to you?
No one looks out for the lay people like me. The people Scotland Yard forget about. You don't. You're willing to walk the same streets as me if it means closing a case. And trust me, there's a lot of game on these streets that you don't know about.
Perhaps I spoke too soon. An interesting appeal.
You haven't taken your coat off. It's 11:30. You're usually playing your violin around this time, but it's still sitting on the hutch in front of your bedroom door. And your bow is hung on the coat rack. You haven't even begun looking through the telegrams of potential clients on the table next to your window. You knew I was coming.
Of course I did.
You did?
There are traces of light blue fabric on the cuffs of your trousers and shoes, likely from someone attempting to dry them after you stepped in a puddle. You've cuffed your shirt sleeves and moved your hair out of your eyes. Do I detect the faint musk of old perfume diluted with rainwater? Someone's tried to make you presentable for us. You haven't come alone.
Lord have mercy, there's 2 of them.
We can help you. Honest.
I'm sorry, you're saying there's more?
I'm not the only one looking to make themselves useful.
Holmes, please, may we have him removed?
Wiggins may stay, John. He's providing me a service.
In what form, may I ask?
I enjoy observing him. It's great fun.
My friends are prepared to render our services for you both, free of charge.
That won't be necessary. What are you? I swear I locked that door.
I had the locks removed last week. Easier for clients to get in.
Of all the ridiculous... What are all these children doing here?
I believe introductions are in order. Down the line. Go on.
How do you do, sirs? Adelaide, Adelbert at your service. You could say I'm the brains of the operation.
I'm the brains, actually.
No, you're the leader. I'm the brains.
I'm both. You're the...
You'll have to forgive Wiggins. He gets a little ahead of himself sometimes. Evidence suggests he was... well... dropped on his head.
I was not.
If you'll have us, we'd like to help your operation any way we can.
Operation? We barely have an operation.
Scotland Yard would like to keep it that way, from what I understand.
How do you know?
Mr. Holmes, please. My family jewels was nicked in the night, sir. I'm an old man. 30 years old. I'm too rickety to get 'em back myself.
Cartwright, come off it.
Why are you wearing that ratty tea towel on your face, boy?
Damn. I had you fooled for a moment there, though, I could tell.
We were supposed to be fooled?
I'm the in-house master of disguise.
Baxter, care to chime in?
Adjudicated to make your acquaintances, Mr. Holmes and Dr. Watson.
Always a pleasure to rub elbows with one who knows what words mean before he utilizes them.
An equal pleasure to hobnob with a fellow man of science. I'm Dr. Baxter Van Davies, doctorate recipient.
He ain't a doctor.
And he doesn't have a fancy medical degree.
Don't listen to them. You know better than anyone how vital the sciences are to detective work, Mr. Holmes.
Name one of the sciences.
Chemicals?
Moving on.
Hello, misters. Name's Opal Gladstone. And Ruby Gladstone. We here to get paid to follow people around.
We're pretty good at that ourselves.
They have the same face, John.
Very observant, Holmes. They're twins. Why are you sweating? What's wrong?
I don't like it.
What? Twins make you uncomfortable. They're children.
Everyone gets one face, Watson. We don't get to share.
They're bloody sponges when it comes to gossip, these two. If you need intelligence, there you go.
By the way, Mrs. Hudson would appreciate it if you would mind your footfalls after 7 o'clock.
Oh, yes, of course. I was worried about that. Hold on a moment. How do you know that?
That's just the word on the street, Doctor.
Mrs. Hudson is gossiping about us.
We store volatile materials in her icebox. It stands to reason.
You do, Sherlock. Don't associate me with that.
This is us. You may be able to ignore me, but you can't ignore us all. We want to help the folks Scotland Yard turns their backs to.
Yes. All for the good of lowly Londoners, right, lad? It couldn't possibly have anything to do with the thrill of the chase, of course.
What? You don't like your share of adventure, Mr. Holmes?
Oh, I wouldn't be doing this if adventure weren't involved, Mr. Wiggins. But I am not a child. I am not distracted.
I'm not distracted.
That's the 3rd time you've picked at your fingernails since you've entered here, all 3 of which occurred when you were speaking to me directly. You struggle to maintain eye contact when conversing with me, something, by the way, you have not displayed when speaking to my associate, betrays your feelings of intimidation. More than anything, Mr. Wiggins, you hide behind the talents of the friends you've assembled here rather than displaying your own intellectual prowess to me directly. Therefore, you attempt to appeal to my emotions. A fool's errand, I am sorry to say. I am lacking in that regard. You're so busy trying to prove yourself as the leader that you cannot see the most direct route to my approval is showing me that you are capable of observing.
I want to help you. I want to do my part.
You have done your part. In A Study in Scarlet. You're a jolly good supporting character, Wiggins, but I'm afraid you'll not be recurring.
No, John. I didn't say Wiggins couldn't help.
Really?
You're actually considering this. Holmes, they're street children.
Which means they know more about every dark corner of London than anyone else.
It's true, Dr. Watson. You don't know the lot of what's out there.
All right, Wiggins. You and your little band want to prove yourselves? Right then. You may help us.
Yes! Oh, yes!
By taking on the menial cases, missing bits and bobs, petty disagreements, and so forth.
What? Hey, no fair!
You tricked us!
But, what about A Study in Scarlet? I helped you solve a murder!
And you were integral in solving that case. But now, Mr. Wiggins, you must prove your consistency. Such is the task. Whether you take it or not is up to you.
We'll do it.
Oh, yes.
Whatever you have for us, no matter how boring.
Wonderful. Very much looking forward to working with you young fellows. Now, out you go.
Wait a minute!
What's going on?
We have to get to work, don't we?
When's our first case?
We'll find something, never you worry.
Mrs. Hudson will escort you Baker Street irregulars out.
Irregulars?
Why irregular?
Because I suspect we'll be seeing each other irregularly. Good day.
Clever line, John.
It was clever, wasn't it?
This should prove to be an amusing experiment. Let's see if these Baker Street irregulars are up to the task. Thank you for joining Secret Handshake for the first episode of 221B, Adventures of the Baker Street Irregulars. This series was written and directed by Elliott Brotherhood. The voices featured in this episode include George Lorimer as Inspector Lestrade, Max Pink as Sherlock Holmes, Elliott Brotherhood as Dr. John Watson, Thatcher Jacobs as Wiggins, Mikkel Knutson as Coroner Wesley, Jake Badovski as Officer Paxton, Leo Madson as Cartwright, Demetrios Troy as Leon Pane, Silva Anderson as Adelaide, Josie Van Slyke as Opal, Zoah Hirano as Ruby, Edward Ozarski as Baxter, Stacey Madson as Mrs. Hudson, and Abigail Watson, Delaney Sterling, Joe Boersma, and Mikkel Knutson as Londoners. Thank you for listening.